Hey everyone, I'm James Lynch. In today's video, I'm going to be predicting every single UFC champion by the end of 2024. And just to give you an idea of who currently is champion, you can see it here on the rankings. We're going to quickly scroll through all this so you guys have a quick outlook at this. And we are recording this December 26, 2023. We'll see how many of these I get right and how many I get wrong by the end of next year. And let's start first in the heavyweight division. Of course, we have Jon Jones currently as the heavyweight champion. If you guys have watched this channel enough, you know where I stand on this. This is going to be Jon Jones's last fight against Stipe Miocic. I think him and Stipe are going to retire. And so the current champion, I think by the end of next year, kind of obvious here, if you guys have, again, been watching my channel a lot, is going to be Tom Aspinall. I think whoever Tom Aspinall fights next, it doesn't matter. I think he's going to end up being the champion by year's end. I think he is the best heavyweight in the world right now. I think he's extremely well-rounded. Talk about a great 2023 for him. Back-to-back stoppage wins over Marcin Tybura and Sergey Pavlovich. Again, you look at the record here, 71% of his wins by knockout, 28% by submission. He's got a great ground game and not that old, 30 years old in the prime of his career. I think Aspinall is going to hold heavyweight gold by the end of the year. And I think even if Jon Jones decided to stay, I would still be picking Tom Aspinall. I know that's maybe a hot take here, but I'm just very, very, very high on Tom Aspinall and his skill set. So to me, Tom Aspinall will remain the heavyweight champion. Okay, let's get to light heavyweight. Currently, right now, we have Alex Pereira as the light heavyweight champion, defeating Yuri Prochazka in his last fight. I forgot about that for a sec, but yes, he did. He knocked out Yuri Prochazka to win the title. I think we're going to see the title change hands here, and I think that this guy, Magomed Ankalaev, is going to end up being the light heavyweight champion by the end of next year. And it's as simple as this. First, got to state the obvious. I think Ankalaev does defeat Johnny Walker when they fight on January 13th. And then I think after that, it's just a matter of him getting fights booked. If he was more active, I think Ankalaev would already be champion right now. But there aren't a lot of weaknesses there. Very well-rounded. You can see there a number of knockout wins. He's got a good ground game as well, even though he doesn't use it a lot. Just a really durable, tough matchup. And I just think what it comes down to for me is that I think Ankalaev's more well-rounded. So whether it's Pereira who's the champ or Jamal Hill or whoever, it doesn't matter. I think Ankalaev would probably win most of these fights. I think that's the best bet here for him being champion. So I'm going to go Magomed Ankalaev as the light heavyweight champion. Let's keep it moving here in the middleweight division. We've got Sean Strickland, and look, huge Sean Strickland fan, would love to be wrong on this 100% by the end of next year. But if you guys have watched my video already on UFC 297, you probably know which way I'm leaning here. And I think the title stays there. And I think Dricus du Plessis is going to be the middleweight champion by the end of next year. And look, I said it in the breakdown, I am banking a lot on du Plessis' cardio in that fight with Sean Strickland. But after that, I think he really is the best fighter. And I know some people will say Khamzat Chimaev, and I certainly understand the hype behind him, but I need to see more from Khamzat Chimaev at middleweight. Him beating Kamaru Usman in a close fight is not enough for me to pick him as the middleweight champion right now. I think if Izzy comes back, Dricus wins that fight. I think if Chimaev right now fought Dricus, I would pick Dricus in that fight. He's just good everywhere. Again, he's, the cardio was kind of the big knock on him, but he's got the knockout power. We've seen that in the Robert Whittaker fight. This guy's a finisher. He's 29 years old in the prime of his career. You look at it there, a number of stoppage victories. I think the best bet for middleweight champion by the end of next year is going to be Dricus du Plessis. So that is who I'm going with for the middleweight champion. All right, let's go to welterweight. It's Leon Edwards. Most likely Leon Edwards, Bilal Muhammad next, I would think. Regardless of what happens there, it doesn't make a difference to me. You guys know how I feel about this. I think the champ's going to be Shavkat. Said it before, there's few fighters in the welterweight division. There's few fighters in the UFC period that do special things, and Rakhmonov is one of those guys. Yes, I know he was heavily favored in his last fight against Stephen Thompson and ended up coming through with flying colors, but he finished Thompson in that fight. I think that's pretty significant. He's also the only fighter in the UFC to finish Jeff Neal. I think Shavkat, with his finishing ability, is going to pose problems for anyone, whether it's Leon Edwards, whether it's Bilal. It doesn't matter. I think Shavkat is going to end up holding the title, and I think the timing should work out because I think they will do Leon and Bilal next. Even if Shavkat has to fight someone next, I think whoever that is, he's going to win. And I think regardless, when he does get that title shot, I think the timing will work out. I see him beating either Leon or Bilal. So Shavkat Rakhmonov is going to be my welterweight champion by the end of next year. Okay, keeping it going. Lightweight division. Don't think there's any huge surprise here as far as, who I think is going to end up being champion by the end of next year. It's pretty obvious. I'm going Islam, and still, I don't see anyone beating Islam Makhachev right now at lightweight. I think there's some guys that have the ability to maybe surprise a bit, like Gaethje or Arman Tsarukyan, but regardless, I think Islam pretty much has everyone's number in that division. I think the only way Islam loses a fight is if he moves up, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I know a lot of people want to see him fight Leon Edwards and all this, but he needs a couple more title defenses. I think by this time next year, we're going to see Islam still hold the title. So I'm going to go Islam Makhachev as the current lightweight champion this time next year. Let's go to featherweight. Right now, we've got Alex Volkanovski as the current featherweight champion. I think that's where it stays. I think Volk still retains his title. I think he beats Ilia Topuria. I think a lot of people, I mean, look, it could happen. Maybe the knockout will change the course of Volk's career, but I think regardless, I think Volk's going to stick around as long as he needs to. He's not going to go back up to lightweight anytime soon with the fact that he's lost two fights to the current champ Islam. So I think he stays, and I think he continues to, fight at featherweight, and I just don't see anyone beating him right now unless something surprises us here, but I'm going to go Volkanovski to get it done. And retain his title this time next year. Okay, bantamweight. This one's going to be really interesting. Sean O'Malley's the current champ. So I'm going to put a little asterisk next to this one. I will give you my official pick, but I'm going to put an asterisk for this following reason. So I'm going to go Corey Sandhagen's going to be the bantamweight champion. Maybe a bit of a hot take here. I think Corey's just so well-rounded. He doesn't get hit that much. And I know he's coming off some injuries and he's getting a little bit up there. Well, I shouldn't say that. He's only 31, but I really do think Corey is one of the best, if not the best bantamweight in the division right now. So the reason I say the asterisk thing here is this. I, for whatever reason, do not think Merab Dvalishvili is going to get a title shot. I don't know why. I hope it happens. If Merab ends up getting the shot, I would lean more towards Merab, but I just think the politics of this sport will keep Merab out of a title fight. And I think Corey will eventually get a title shot. And I do think if it's O'Malley or Cheeto or it doesn't matter, I think Sandhagen can win the belt. So I'm basing it purely off that. I know there's going to be people out here right now in this video saying Umar is going to be the champ next year. I need to see more. I do. It's like the Chimaev thing. I need to see him fight better opposition. Umar certainly looks promising as far as being a future champion, but there's no way I could pick him as a champion this time next year based off beating Ione Barcelos. Like, that's not enough for me. Whereas Sandhagen, he's got quality wins. He looks dominant in a lot of his performances here. I'm going Corey Sandhagen to hold the bantamweight belt this time next year. Okay, next fighter. We're going to keep moving along. Flyweight division, Alexander Pantoja. Do I think the title will change hands? I do not. I think Pantoja will still retain his title. I've been really high on Manel Kape. I think there's certainly a possibility of him fighting for a title next year, but you're really banking on the fact that Kape can knock out Pantoja, and I don't think that'll happen. I think Pantoja, time and time again, has proven people wrong, including myself. I think he still retains the title. I think he's too well-rounded. There's other guys knocking on the door. You got Muhammad Mokaev. You've got the Amir Albazi, Brandon Moreno fight. I think even if Moreno or whoever wins that fight, I still would pick Pantoja there. I think Pantoja retains his title at flyweight, and I think he ends up holding the title this time next year. Let's get to the women's divisions right now. We're going to start with women's bantamweight. So right now, where are we here? Women's bantamweight does not have a champion right now. We have the bantamweight title fight coming up at UFC 297 between Raquel Pennington and Mayra Silva. You've got Juliana Pena out there. You've got Miesha Tate, who just came off a big win, although I think Tate's a few away. I'm going to keep this simple. I think Raquel Pennington is your champion by this time next year. I think she beats Mayra Silva. I think if Juliana Pena fights Raquel Pennington, I think Pennington wins that fight. Look, it's not pretty when she fights or when she gets these wins, but she still ends up getting it done. I think Pennington's a safe bet here. I guess the only concern a little bit is that she's 35, but I mean, from what we've seen, there's no signs of her slowing down. I think Raquel Pennington ends up the UFC bantamweight champion come next year. And then capping things off at flyweight, we've got Alexa Grasso as the champ. This one was tough for me. I definitely could see Grasso retaining her title, but listen, I've been wrong on her a number of times, and I think with her age and her just, improving drastically, I could see it happening next year, and that's Erin Blanchfield. I think Erin Blanchfield beats Manon Fior, and I think when she goes to that title fight, she's going to rise to the occasion and slightly edge out Grasso or whoever holds the title at a certain point. Valentina and her obviously are going to have their trilogy fight, and then I think Blanchfield's going to get the winner, and I think Blanchfield's going to win the title. So yeah, I'm going Erin Blanchfield, flyweight champion. Again, I talked about fighters doing special things. I think Blanchfield's one of those fighters as well. You think of how young she is, 24 years old, and she's this talented. I think if she gets past Fior, I have no doubt she's going to be a champion. And I think she does do that come next year. So I'm going Erin Blanchfield as your flyweight champion. And rounding things out right now, for the strawweight division, we've got Weili Zhang. If you've watched this channel, you probably know which way I'm leaning here. I'm going Tatiana Suarez. I think it's only a matter of time. I think this whole Amanda Lemos fight is just a stay busy fight for her. They're most likely going to do Weili Zhang and Yan Xiaonan next. I think Zhang probably wins that, and I think Suarez fights the winner because I think she beats Lemos, and I think she ends up becoming champion. So that's who I'm going with there. Tatiana Suarez as your strawweight champion this time next year. Let's do a quick recap, everyone. So at heavyweight, I got Tom Aspinall. I mean, realistically, I think Aspinall's the real champ at this point anyways with this whole John Jones stuff. So Aspinall, kind of an easy one there. Ankalaev, again, a bit of a hot take there, but I think Ankalaev's too well-rounded. I think he gets it done. Duplessis, this is one I'm not super confident in, but I could see him getting it done. Again, Chimaev, I need to see a little bit more next year to go that route. Shavkat Rakhmonov, pretty confident he does get this one done. Again, I just think he's looked so impressive in some of his fights. I'm going to go him as champ. Islam Makhachev, I don't think anyone beats him at 155. You got Corey Sandhagen at bantamweight, again, a bit of a, not one I'm like super confident in, but I think if all goes well and Corey gets his title shot, I think he will defeat Sean O'Malley or Cheeto or whoever it ends up. Well, I think it's going to end up being O'Malley, and then I think Corey maybe fights the winner. You got Pantoja, I think, retaining at flyweight. You've got Raquel Pennington, I think getting it done at UFC 297 and the rest of the year. Aaron Blanchfield, a bit of a, maybe hot take there on her winning the title there. And then Tatiana Suarez, I don't think there's anyone who really disagrees with me that much. I think Suarez will end up being champion. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. What do you think of some of my picks here for champion? Who do you think will be champion by this time next year? Would love to hear your take. Would also like to hear how you think they get there. That's something I didn't go into too much detail here. I did a little bit, but I'm curious to hear how you guys are picking on this one. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @LynchOnSports. And if you have any other video ideas for predictions for 2024, would love to hear them in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.